Okay, so on to the next track in Sammy's Casual Sonic Monster series, man. The series has been fantastic. I say it in all my reactions just in case, you know, some people will be jumping onto this without knowing that it's actually a series. But if you are hopping on now, I suggest you go back and start from the very beginning. We've got Guns N' Roses, we've got Ed Sheeran, we've got a whole bunch of different artists, different variety of artists that have been very, very, very good. This one over here, Pop Evil, never heard of Pop Evil. This is called Skeletons. This is the first time I'm actually reacting to this group, person, and song. So yeah, let's rock and roll, man. Let's see what we've got over here. Let's go.
Seat to hell, I get a preview. Hey. We live in a world gone mad, that's lost control.
Oh my god, yes, that's very true. That is the world we live in. I'm not entirely sure when you made this song, but if you think it was bad whenever you made this song, welcome to 2023, man. I always like the fact that people always refer to their shadows in the dark, like at night, essentially. So like if you think about your shadow, when does your shadow get cast? It's like with the sunlight, like, you know, when the sunlight, when the light hits you, that casts a shadow behind you, essentially, where you shouldn't have that at night, unless obviously there's a light or whatever else, but still, you don't speak of shadows at night. But I like the actual reference to that's when you actually see your shadows. You see your shadows when you don't see your shadows, right? Because that's when they're kind of getting to work, essentially. So at night, like you're fighting for the dawn, right? But that's where your shadows kind of come out, essentially. So it's almost like during the day your shadow is cast, but during the night your shadow gets to work because everything's dark. I don't know, it was just like a bit of a philosophical little brain fart that I had there, but anyway. Also makes sense over there. Get lost in outer space. We're only human. We're flesh and bone, fighting wars within. We're only human. We're flesh and bone, lonely skeletons. I drive 1,000 miles, the highway lies, but I never could read the signs. So I drift sideways, going back in the grave, praying that my stars align. I see my shadow. So I drift sideways, going back in the grave, hoping that my stars align. Fire. Going back in the grave, praying that my stars align. I see my shadows in the rear view, vaping like the sky was blue. Also, I drift sideways is actually quite clever because it's kind of like going from a vertical standpoint to like a horizontal, which kind of is going into your grave. So it's basically saying like he's falling, right? But when you play that back into the shadow, it's also I drift sideways in terms of like how the shadow is cast. I actually think that's fucking clever because the shadow is cast on the ground and basically your shadow is what is basically, it's almost like a template for your grave. That's once again, I'm just playing in my own mind with that one, but let's go. Shadows in the rear view, vaping like the sky was blue. But from the gallows, they remind you we're all just passing through. Hey. We live in a world gone mad, that's lost control. What doesn't kill us leaves a hole in our soul. I like the fact that he's saying chasing satellites and then get lost in outer space. So like outer space is being the actual real world, right? Getting lost in the universe, but we chase the man-made things. Do you know what I mean? So it's not even like we're chasing stars or something that's more beautiful and something that was created by something greater or more powerful, be it whatever you want to call it, whoever created it, right? In your own sort of
doctrines, whatever. But it's like, it's not chasing something beautiful. It's actually chasing something man-made, which plays into the sort of materialistic items, right, that we chase, essentially. So I actually like that little comparison.
Chase the satellite, get lost in outer space. We're only human, we're flesh and bone, fighting wars within. We're only human, we're flesh and bone, lonely skeletons.
I like the lonely skeletons playing that line in terms of like, yes, we're lonely, we're flesh and bone, but we're actually skeletons. So it's almost like we are walking into our grave, and what's in the grave, what's left of us in the grave, it's actually just our skeleton. It's only a matter of time until we actually do become a skeleton in the actual grave. So it's basically saying we're lonely skeletons that we are destined for the grave, right? But it's that flesh and bone is what, sorry, the flesh and bone is kind of like, what do we are waging our wars within, like, sort of like our flesh and bone, within our psyche. But at the end of the day, our destiny is exactly the same, right? So it's a battle for everybody, because that is who we are. We are only human. And I like also the line that we plays into the satellite, where, you know, when you think of something that's satellite, it's something that is kind of like alone. It's like a little alone object in the sky, right? That's man-made, and it kind of feels, it plays into that lonely skeletons is like, we're just a satellite person in this greater picture. I actually think that's quite clever.
We're flesh and bone, lonely skeletons. We're fighting.
Also, sorry, I'm just thinking of something else. So and then he also says we're only passing through. So very much like a satellite, sort of passing through. So he's almost saying that this is kind of like this dimension. We are a satellite in this dimension, and we're literally passing through, right? We're there for like a communication purpose, right? There is a utility to us, right? But we're only passing through, and who knows sort of like what other sort of orbit we're going to go to when we die, to do what on that side. I think that's very clever. I'm not sure if I'm digging too deep into this, but it's quite clever.
Lonely skeletons, we're fighting a war with we're losing ourselves, the more we spend. We're only human.
I love that. I love the way he writes. I mean, it's very, very clever. We're losing ourselves the more we spin. So it's talking about the more the Earth's rotation, the more we spin, right? So when he refers to spinning is time, basically, how, you know, the Earth's spinning and time is continuing. So it's like our lives are sort of getting depleted. Essentially, at every single turn of the Earth, right, is another day past. We're going towards the grave, right? But then also talking about the spinning of your own mind, right? So the spinning in your we're losing ourselves the more we spin, in the sense of like we're not stable, right? We're consistently spinning, we're consistently all over the show. You know, we can't come to a point where we are grounded, essentially. So it's clever. Fire. This track for me highlights. This one and Sarah McLachlan is the highlight of the series so far. I love this. I love the instrumentation. I love the melody on this. I love the words on this. I love everything about this track. This track is fire. Absolutely fire. Never heard of Pop Evil. This is such a sick tune, man.
We're only human. We're flesh and bone, fighting wars within. We're only human. We're flesh and bone, lonely skeletons. We're only human. We're flesh and bone, lonely skeletons. We're only human. We're flesh and bone, lonely skeletons.
Bam! Yep, that's definitely one of my favorites of the series. That is 100% one of my favorites of the series. I love that track. I'm actually going to put that track on my playlist. You guys, let me know what you think down below. And I'll catch you on the very next one. Peace!